All right. It says that I'm live now. Sorry about the wait. Just waiting to make sure that the it actually goes live. So I just watched the episode on HBO. I don't think it was as good as an episode as we had before in episode one. I liked it more as time went on. Uh, I can verify now that we're live. So I liked episode one better. I thought it had a really poor start. The trial of Jaime Lannister was really abbreviated. I thought particularly the Sophie Turner's or Sansa Stark's turn in her assessment of Jaime Lannister was too quick. It was not realistic, and it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It also didn't make any sense to me that the Mother of Dragons, the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, would defer to the decisions of, Jon Snow and Sansa Stark. And so that she would even consider that those people's opinions in the trial of Jaime Lannister is absurd to me. That, but it seemed it was in line with my assessment that the show is about fan service, and it's not about realism. It's not about the kind of randomness and the brutal reality that was Game of Thrones when we were dependent on the books. Nevertheless, I liked the episode as it went on. Obviously, they've made Jamie into a compelling character, and a unambiguously good character, even though his deeds are unambiguously bad. And in our world or any other world, he would have to serve time for what he did. And but I like the fireside thing, especially the knighting of Jaime Lannister and now Sir Brienne of Tarth. I thought that was quite good. And if you're a book reader and you've especially read the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Duncan Egg stories, I think you would really appreciate that particular scene. It kind of harkens back to the core of all great fiction, which is My Cousin Vinny, about the lawyer who who was admitted to the state bar by scoundrels and thieves, and really, Brienne being admitted to knighthood after her many great deeds by essentially a scoundrel and a thief, Jaime Lannister. I thought that was quite fitting and true to life, and it gave me a little teary eyed. The other, it was just a lot of reunions episode as we expected, right? Even with the leak, I said before the episode, there wasn't many surprises in this. Maybe they had all those cups and eating and drinking, and nobody was poisoned. That was the big surprise, but not that big a surprise because we know that really, especially since season 7, but maybe even going to season 6, that they've been focused on fan service and not been on unpredictability and taking advantage of the opportunity and realism. So, for that reason, I guess I'm not surprised. There's just a lot of touching scenes in that, and a lot of kind of character development. So this was kind of an actor's episode, and the fact that we've got 2 reunion episodes essentially here. We got, I thought it was a little bit unexpected, but not terribly, that we had Theon there. Theon said he's gonna defend Bran. Some of the more significant things I think was the discussion for Bran, because we're really looking for Bran now. What are the rules of the game now? Who is the Night King? What does he want? Bran shows the mark of the Night King on him, and he says that the Night King is really tracking him. And then we had that kind of very good commentary from Sam, which says that, the dead don't remember, and if we don't have our history, it's like we're dead, right? So that was kind of a little prophetic, I don't, maybe false prophetic, false significance, but it seemed interesting. So Theon's going to defend him at the Godswood. I was hoping for a little bit more of a strategy coming out of the strategy sessions. I did not see that in this episode. We did have, from the leak scenes, we did have the joining of the House of Baratheon and House of Stark with Arya, and we had the discussions. The drinking scene in general I thought it was a pretty cute scene, with all our favorite characters there at the hearth, and I thought that was nice. In addition to the whole the Brienne knighting at long last. I think the other scene, I think the feature of this heavy-handed season, which is continuing the position of the heavy-handed season 7, season 8 is the heavy hand is going to say that Dany is too power hungry, and she's too interested in power, and so when Jon reveals to her that he is Aegon Targaryen, she's like, well, that's convenient. Your best friend and your brother say that you are the true heir to the Iron Throne, and I'm not. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that's reasonable. I was hoping for more for this episode. I was thinking that she was going to say she was pregnant. I was also looking for, in this episode, an example of their strategy towards defeating the Night King and deploying the dragons. There was really none of that. The only strategy was hanging around the Godswood and waiting for the Night King to come. But how were they going to get the Night King? They said they needed to kill the Night King to get rid of him, and Bran decisively said, I don't know how to kill the Night King, and that was news to us. Right, I think there's been a lot of speculation about, how do you kill the Night King? We know how you kill the White Walkers. We know how you kill the Whites. We don't know how you kill the Night King. And Bran said he doesn't know either. But Bran did say that the Night King is tracking him, not really anything else. But he does seem like he's trying to kill everybody. There was we saw the pre-pictures of Gilly. Gilly got into this episode, and she didn't have a really significant part to play, except that, Sam and Little Sam and Gilly are going to hang out in the crypts. Arya got her two-handed weapon of dragon glass, so that was good. And then and then we had a little bit of the battlement scenes, and we ended with what we saw from the trailer, that the White Walkers were in sight of Winterfell. And fairly early in the episode, we saw Tormund and Dolorous Ed come from the wall to warn them that the army of the dead was within a day away, that they would attack at night. And so there wasn't really that was halfway through the episode, and I was like, okay, are the dead gonna attack? And they didn't. So we didn't see any action in the crypts of Winterfell except for the exposition by Dany and Jon Snow, aka our Aegon Targaryen, about who his true parentage was, and kind of Dany not taking that very well. But I guess the big surprise for me was that Dany didn't say that she was pregnant. The other big surprise was that she was so weak in the trial of Jaime Lannister that she just deferred to Sansa and she deferred to Jon. And then Sansa, she had the powwow with Sansa, and obviously Sansa was like, we can't be part of the Seven Kingdoms up in the north. We have to rule ourselves. And that was really a continuing wedge between Sansa and Dany. And that didn't seem like a wedge that was going to go away. So we'll see who survives out of the Battle of Winterfell, and whether this independence of the North is going to continue. I think when the Targaryens did conquer Westerfeld, the King of the North who was the Stark, did bow to the Targaryens, but that was after the example that the Targaryens was going to burn down everything, and it was pretty obvious that if they didn't bow to them, that they would have massive loss of life. And that's probably the same situation here today, that the Northerners are just a little bit more rebellious, and to keep them in the fold is kind of hard to do. I guess the other thing I think is the relationship between Dany and Jon, that they don't see themselves as one and the same, that they see themselves as different people, and that they're rivals. And I thought that was interesting, that Dany didn't see herself as her and Jon as being together, but rather they were rivals. Okay, so let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to die in episode 3? Do you think they're going to take out the Night King in episode 3? What dragons do you think are going to survive through episode 3? Do you think Drogon's going to survive? Do you think Rhaegal's going to survive? Do you think Viserion, who is the undead dragon, do you think he's going to survive that? Who is going to be still around for episode 4? And will we see any of the Cersei's army in episode 3, or will we have to wait until episode 5 or 6? So episode 4 is going to be a long episode. I think episode 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be long episodes. This was one of the shorter ones. And it's more likely we're going to have a battle in episode 3 and 5. All right. Subscribe to Linus Wilson to get more about this. Talk to you later. Have a good one.